I was already working as a sleep consultant, not a very confident one. I had done actually two certifications, both of which had promoted evidence-based and gentle and holistic. It wasn't until I got to the end and I was like, oh no, like that was not what I felt like I needed or wanted. Didn't have the sound knowledge or backing to feel confident. I just felt like I didn't have any guts. Like I just felt like I didn't know the why. I didn't really feel super confident. Following Lindsay on her Instagram, and I had an idea that she'd been part of she had made like this program. I think again, like it was just like a confidence crisis that I was feeling. Like I felt like a scam. I felt like I didn't, again, know what I wanted to know. There were a few other holistic sleep coaches that started to kind of pop up in my feed, and I was like, yes, like this is who, these are my people, like this is who I align with, what I want, how I hope I come across, like what is it that they've done. And then when I looked at that, it was the holistic sleep coaching program. So I was like, oh, amazing. Because all Lindsay's posts are like evidence based and backed, and there's actual guts to them. It's not just floofy, I think that's the word. I was like, that's what I want. Like, I want to know this stuff more confidently. I think because I'd done other programs, I was just a little worried that I'd jump in and get the same stuff. I think that was the biggest hesitation. And I think because I was already working with clients, I was very stressed that this was all that there was, and this is the most information that I could acquire, and this was the most confident I could feel. And it was all of those kind of things that I was like, oh no, because once you've done a few certifications, like they start to add up in terms of how expensive they were. And I was like, oh gosh, like, is it going to be worthwhile? I think was like the biggest thing I was worried about. Absolutely has been, without a shadow of doubt. Thank goodness. But yeah, that was the biggest barrier for me, for sure. Then I remember saying it to Josh, who's my husband, and he was like, another one, another one. And I was like, I know, but I think this one's the right one. I remember being so excited that you had to reference, because I didn't have to reference in a single one of these other courses, and it drove me insane because I was like, "This what?" Like, it just didn't make sense to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many references, like, this is amazing." I was so pumped, like, Martinique, who's on works alongside me, actually then came in and jumped on and did the course as well because I was loving it so much, and talking to her about, "Oh my gosh, you won't believe, like, this is what I was just listening to, this is what I just learned," and she's like, "Yes, this is amazing." So yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so what I've achieved firstly is the right clients. I think that I was getting this very strange cross section of people who just weren't 100% probably my ideal client, I think is the right way to describe it. And again, because I was lacking the confidence to really, I guess, go for and to portray exactly what it was that I was wanting. I then wasn't confident with how I dealt with those people as well, I think. So that's number one. Since then, I've also felt much more confident in the things that I'm producing. So I've made a group coaching program, which has been incredible. I've made a whole heap of additional like webinars and guides, with the goal of work-life balance, exactly what we were chatting about, and reducing things back. I feel like, as well as that, just the business in general has become much more successful. And I think that that probably comes down to, again, just like confidence in what we're doing and why, and the right people finding us, probably because of the confidence and messaging that we have with what we're putting out as well, which has been awesome. I've come so far from where I started. I think when I started and I hadn't done this course, we were charging half of what we are now, which is because I was not at all confident in what I was doing, I think. So I didn't really have much confidence to back myself. So we have doubled our prices, and I was for sure so stressed that that was going to send things backwards. But in fact, we've been busier than we were, and it's been bigger than it has been, which is so exciting. We've been able, like, I would say that like lifestyle wise has been a massive difference. We went from when I started this program we had just relocated back to like our hometown because we live in Sydney. I don't know if anyone knows the price of Sydney, Australia, but I think it's actually technically the second most expensive city in the world. It's ridiculous. And at the time, we just could not afford life here. So we'd gone back to little old Launceston, Tasmania, which is probably the most cheap place in Australia that you could live. And within 10 months, we were able to come back and buy a house here. Um, and our role has completely changed. Josh, who's my husband, has been able to start doing his masters and reduce his workload back because of the success that we've had in the business, which again, I predominantly would attribute to a lot of what I've learned through the course and a lot of the confidence that I've gained from the program, because I would have never, I think, created the things that I did, and also had the confidence to um, I guess, like, increase the price that we were offering things at if I hadn't have had the confidence, knowledge, and all the exposure and even just encouragement from other people in the program to do so as well, which has been great. Great little community, which is the best. If I was to sum it up in one sentence, I would say I feel confident, I feel empowered, and I feel I guess like I can back myself in the things that I'm saying publicly on Instagram, privately in with like one-on-one consults, and then also broadly in the more, I guess, self-paced options that I have available. And that has been such a game changer for me in this space.